What's up, everybody? It's the modern day prophet here to make another video. And this video is going to be called I am going to explain special abilities and superpowers of autistic people one last time. And that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to dedicate this video to really explaining it one last time. I deal with a lot of people on social media. I'm coming across a lot of these lame weirdo people who want to claim autism, and and the first rule of autism is understanding that if you're autistic, you're not going to be making videos about autism, and you're not going to be responding to me in the comments about autism. Autistic people can't do that. They can't even do that. So if you're talking to me in the comments and you're telling me that you're autistic, I know you're full of shit right off the bat. You're just a weirdo looking for attention. And I'm gonna do everything I can to to expose all of you lame weirdos. And then you got the parents. My child don't have no special abilities. My child don't have no superpowers. And normally if a parent says that in the comments, I know right off the bat they don't have an autistic child. Now, there may be a few of y'all who really do have autistic children who may watch my videos and be like, I can see he's on our side. I know he has our children's best interests at heart, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling him on that special abilities and superpower stuff. So let me say this right off the bat. When I say superpowers and special abilities, I'm saying that for effect. I'm not literally talking about people shooting beams out of their eyes or running at super speed or flying through the air. I'm not talking comic books or anime or Saturday morning cartoons. That's not what I mean by special abilities and superpowers. But autistic people are very special people. And I'm going to explain what I mean when I say special abilities and superpowers. We all have brains. All of us have brains. Our brains control every aspect of our bodies. Every aspect. Your consciousness, your heart beating, your blood flowing, your organs working. Everything is controlled by the brain. The brain allocates resources for everything that happens in our bodies. It's just like a computer, how a CPU has to allocate resources for certain tasks. Our brain works the exact same way. And one of the things that it allocates resources for is our intelligence. And for the purpose of this video, to make it simple and easy to understand, I'm going to break our intelligence down into two aspects: our social intelligence and our logical intelligence. For most people, our brains are balanced between that social and logical intelligence in terms of the resources that's allocated. You know, Now it may allocate, slightly more for some people logically and slightly more for other people socially. But it's going to be a balance in most people between social and logical. Now, for autistic people, it's different. With their brains, the brain allocates all of the resources to logic, which means they have very little or zero resources for their social intelligence. Now, what this does is it makes their brains overpowered logically. Excuse me. Because basically, they have the potential to use 100% of the brain's logic or to use the brain 100% logically, which nobody else can do. Like I said, every other people's brains are balanced between social intelligence and logical intelligence. And most people don't even think about social intelligence. We kind of take it for granted. It's our ability to interact with the environment, interact with the people in the environment, and those things. That's our social intelligence. Our logical intelligence is our ability to learn, to remember, gain knowledge, things like that. an autistic person's brain is 100% geared towards logic. That's what makes their brains superpowered. That's what I mean by superpowers and special abilities. What it really means is they can use their brains in ways that other people would never be able to, meaning they can do things that other people can't do. They are on a completely different level in terms of the logical capacity of their brains. In fact, autistic an autistic brain is the most powerful source of computational logic in the world. There is nothing that can compete with an autistic brain. There is no supercomputer we will ever create that can compete with an autistic brain. Not ever. The AI can't even come close to an autistic brain. An autistic brain is miraculous. Now, I spoke about balance. As a result of an autistic person having these superpowered brains, logically, they don't have any social awareness. Their social intelligence is almost at zero or very, very low. Now, I don't believe in this spectrum garbage. That's a bunch of garbage that just lets people, claim autism that aren't autistic. But in terms of truly autistic people, it would be a very, very small spectrum in terms of like, okay, you might have some brains that's 95% logic instead of 100, which would give them a tiny, tiny bit more awareness than some other autistic person, but it's still too low to make a difference. It's still going to be so low that it won't make a difference. So basically, an autistic person has this superpowered logical brain, but they have no awareness to know that they have this superpowered logical brain. An autistic person will never be able to access that powerful part of their brain on their own. The only way they can access it is if somebody else facilitates it for them, meaning somebody else is going to have to figure out how their brain works and then create the situations where they will be able to utilize it. Now, just to put that in perspective, I'm going to talk about another type of person who's similar to an autistic person, but nowhere near as severe as autism, and that's a savant. A savant will be right in the middle of an autistic person and a non-autistic person, meaning they also are going to have powerful brains. Most savants are geniuses. They're super intelligent. But if you think they're smart, their brains don't have anything on an autistic person's brain. But at the same time, because their brains aren't totally 100% at logic, they still do have some awareness. Their awareness is impacted, but nowhere near as severely as an autistic person's. Just to put that in perspective, I'm not going to talk about savants because the video is about autistic people, but just to put that in some perspective for you. But yeah, you know, I don't know if any of you watching this video are familiar with chosen ones. I've done videos about chosen ones as well. Autistic people are a group of chosen ones. Autistic people are chosen ones. I made a video about this before saying that chosen ones are just like autistic people. I don't know if I put it on TikTok. I don't even know where I put the video at, but I made that video explaining this. This is why I consider autistic people my spiritual brothers and sisters, because I'm also a chosen one. And I'm not chosen in the way that they are. I'm chosen for something different, something else, something different. But I still relate to autism. And another thing is I understand autism on a fundamentally different level than most other people, including everybody in the medical profession. I understand more about autism than any doctor. I'm not trying to brag. I'm telling you, this because I have been given this knowledge. This knowledge has been given to me. Like, I serve certain purposes in the world. Like, I'm given certain tasks. And, like, for instance, my last task was exposing Jehovah's Witnesses. That was one of my tasks previously. Now, my new task is educating people about autism. Now, when I'm given these tasks, I never know my true purpose as it pertains to these tasks. I just know what I'm supposed to do and I do it. Like right now, I know my purpose is, well, explaining autism, educating people about autism, and I'm hoping it's so that it'll lead to making the world a better place for autistic people. That's what I'm hoping, but I really don't even know. That's my goal. That's the way I'm going to proceed forward. Is first, like I said, explaining autism, making sure people understand what it really is. I'm gonna tell you what's funny. I guarantee you there are parents who have autistic kids who probably have seen glimpses of something special with their kid. Probably fleeting moments, things where they had to look twice. Like, did I really just see that, or did they really just do that? I'm sure there are gonna be instances like that where something will happen to let you know that your kid is special. Basically, parents of autistic children have been given a miracle to care for. And I just want to say with autistic people, you got to be very, very observant, super observant, even observing the things like that you think are silly. Like, say if if you have an autistic kid that seems to be overly interested in bugs, you got to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention to the things that you normally wouldn't think are important. But anyway, y'all, I'm not gonna make this long, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I am gonna make another video in the future where I explain things that are beneficial for autistic people, things that can make their life a little easier and make the lives a little easier of the people that care for autistic people. But that won't be my next video. My next video is gonna be a UFC video. UFC 316 is tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure my next one is going to be UFC related. But after that, it will be that, video about, autism. Like I said, I'm going to explain some things that can be very, very helpful, in taking care of an autistic person. But anyway, y'all, thank you for watching the video. I love you all. Peace.